When in Proton, I'm always the first in the office.
Oh yeah.
You are paid to come on time.
Yep.
So amanah kan, kita buat lah.
True.
Actually negotiate to open 11 petrol stations Petronas in Cambodia. I was supposed to kill this company. Now I'm supposed to sell it. Wow. As you can see today, you can ask siapa father Myvi. Ini dia.
Yeah.
Always give your best in what you do. Nothing come easy in life. With success come a lot of failures. I've failed a lot of my time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Ashraf Khalid dan bersama saya
Ishraq Kamarudin.
Selamat kembali ke Apa Cerita Podcast, di mana kita mendengar kisah-kisah inspirasi daripada individu yang berjaya untuk dijadikan sebagai tauladan
Dan inspirasi.
Yes. So hari ini adalah episod kedua kita di Apa Cerita untuk The CEO Series. Kalau sebelum ni kita ada The Founder Series, and today kita after the first episode with Riyad, today kita ada the second episode untuk the CEO series, and tetamu kita hari ini adalah seorang ahli korporat yang tersohor.
Yes.
I feel so honoured and honestly a little bit nervous sebab guest kita ni bukan calang-calang orang.
Yep.
And maybe you want to do the honour to formally introduce our guest, what?
Yes, I pun actually, to be honest, a bit nervous as well. But before we start, we like to request from our viewers and also subscribers to help subscribe.
Yeah.
I assume you guys are subscribers already.
Yang mana subscriber, thank you. Yang mana tak subscribe, please do
Please,
subscribe.
kalau nak cantik wangi, please do subscribe. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bermula kerjaya beliau sebagai seorang project engineer di Petronas dan rise through the ranks through various companies sehingga menjadi CEO ataupun leadership role untuk syarikat-syarikat yang tidak asing lagi di khalayak ramai, iaitu Perodua, Proton, Petronas, Triple P, man. I've heard great stories from my ex-boss, Ashraf, about our special guest today.
Yep.
As he used to serve our guest today back then in Proton. Many learnings and influence towards developing Riyad Asmat as a leader as he is today. Kira dia adalah boss kepada boss.
Oh, ni level lain lah ni. Kalau dulu kita ada sifu kepada sifu, ni boss kepada boss.
So memang boss lah. Alright. So without further ado, it is my great honor to introduce our special guest today, Executive Chairman of Dagang Next Change Berhad, better known as Dinex, Tan Sri Syed Zainal Abidin.
Alright, so thank you so much Tan Sri for being here.
Thanks
you, Tan
Ashraf.
Sri.
Thanks Ashraf. Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me.
So sekarang kita dah boleh dengar suara radio Tan Sri.
Yes.
Tadi kalau Tan Sri tengok masa buat the intro tu, he tried to give a radio voice, but I think he has to learn more from you lah.
Correct.
It will come naturally.
As a start, I'm already learning something now. Thank you, Tan Sri, for spending your time here with us.
Yeah, most welcome.
And we really appreciate, especially you as a busy man.
Tak boleh lah. Bila Ashraf panggil takkan kata no pula kan. Sudah.
Thank you so much. Kan?
Yeah. So do you know that actually Tan Sri, you used to be you started your career as an engineer and have a background of an engineer, right?
That's right.
Engineering. So, and top 500 companies, Fortune 500 company in the world, most of them are with a background of engineering, right?
The CEOs.
Yeah. Larry Page, the CEO, Tim Cook from Apple,
Bezos.
Amazon, Jeff Bezos. So I'm pretty sure today we will learn so much from Tan Sri, and also for the viewers too. You guys want to stick around because I believe there's a lot of things that we can benefit today. InsyaAllah. Semoga bermanfaat.
Ni ke level-level Steve Jobs Malaysia, bro.
Wah. Yes. Alright.
So Tan Sri, I think the first one yang kita nak tanya kan, of course most people know Tan Sri as a corporate leader. You led companies like Proton, Perodua, Petronas Dagang, now Dinex, and a few others. But I'm also curious to know about your family background. Kan macam mana Tan Sri dibesarkan and how it contributed to your success? Maybe a bit about your parents, how they were. Adakah diorang ni memang Tan Sri lahir-lahir dah senang ke, ataupun how was your parents masa kecil dulu?
Yeah, okay. I think good question. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ashraf, Ishraq, and the viewers of Apa Cerita. Thank you for inviting me. I think it's also an honor for me to be, in the new podcast lah. I think I've a little bit known about Apa Cerita. You have gained a lot of popularity. Alhamdulillah, I think what you're doing is very good to reach out to the viewers. I think not many people know about my background lah, Ashraf. Ishraq. I'm asal, and I say I'm asal Kelantan. Everybody got surprised. I'm born in Kota Baru, Kelantan.
Wow. That's surprise too, yeah.
Slang tak ada. People always thought I'm from Penang and all that. I was born in Kota Baru, Kelantan in 1962. I think my childhood kind of influenced where I am today lah. I was just born and raised. I was in Kelantan until I'm set at 2. So at that point in time, my father was in government servant, and my father has a very humble beginning lah. Tak ada orang kaya pun, Ashraf. I'm not born in a civil platter. He worked very hard. He started his career only as a clerk at the Jabatan Pengangkutan Jalan. Masa tu RTD, Road Transport Department.
In Kelantan?
In Kelantan. And of course, I married my mom. And we live in a very, wooden house in the city. But we shared with 3 other families lah. It's my grandmother's house actually. And the 3 other families. And we have a common living room. I used to share bicycle. We walk to school. So after after finishing Standard 2, my father kena transfer ke Johor. So
from up north down to down south.
Down south. Naik pangkat lah. It was an opportunity.
Yes.
In GPG ni, dia selalu transfer orang lah. They move people around. So he got transferred to Johor Bahru. So me, at the time, masa tu, 3 of my sisters lah. 3 of us were around. Then we had to relocate ourselves. So at a very young age, masa tu kerja 3 ni close about 9 years old, right? 9 years. Yep. 9 years old, so I transferred to Johor. So I started and did my kerja 3, Standard 3, Standard 4, Standard 5. Masa Standard 5 dulu, I think there was an exam lah. I took in Standard 5 kan. Sekarang ni in Standard 6. At that time was Standard 5. So then I was about to, get used to being in Johor, new friends. Then poop again. Kena transfer again. Wow. Ke Penang. North, south, back to north.
So they cover the whole
okay lah. I said, okay lah, dah, the father had to transfer. Ikut lah. Alhamdulillah, he got the promotion. Then he went to Penang. So I went to Penang and entered Standard 6. And that's where I suppose I really grew up lah. Standard 6 sampai lah Form 5 when I went to Penang Free School. So I grew up in a very unique environment, and the fact that you move from one city to the other at a very young age. Tiap 3 tahun you have to adjust, acclimatize, have new friends. It kind of builds your resilience in your character lah, and adaptability is something that I learned from the very beginning lah. Kecil-kecil kan, Ashraf, mana lah kita tahu kan, kawan baru, environment baru, tengok where are your friends, So I don't really have a childhood friend, to speak, where I learned from when I grew up together from kecil sampai lah sekarang. So it's a mix of people. Then from Kelantan, very, nak kata konservatif masa tu, konservatif sikit lah. Johor, gateway to Singapore. Wah, opening sikit pergi Singapore. Satu ringgit, $1 to $1. Singapore dollar kan. Then suddenly go to Penang, a Chinese-based, community. So I have a very mixed, environment that kind of forms my culture lah. So I was born in Kota Baru. I got 5 siblings. I'm the only boy out of the 5, all our sisters. So being the only boy, we thought lah, pressure sikit lah.
Yalah.
Pressure to perform, and the fact that when you're only boy, you don't have friends in the family. So my friends are my company are my friends outside lah. Tak boleh ada brother and then you gonna hang out together. Yeah, so I spend a lot of time outside.
You are number 1?
Number 2.
Oh, number 2.
Number 2.
Abang
Yeah, so, and my mom is just a simple housewife from the beginning until today. And my dad, as I said, started as a clerk. And then he, when we were in Penang, he was the director of GPJ in Penang.
Pangkat banyak.
But he really worked his
and
way.
He really worked hard, and I've seen him provide for the family, and even today lah, he's still, alhamdulillah, he's still around. He's about 87 years old, sihat. I'm still lucky both my parents are around. So that, years of me, shooting for one another really shapes me when I am today lah. Few things that I just want to share. I become very adaptable.
Yep.
And even today, I can adapt to environment quite easily.
Betul.
Other companies, the world that we operate, number two, making friends is something that I
Natural lah.
become natural lah.
Yeah.
Because you tak boleh sombong kan. Kalau sombong kan you get isolated kan. So I do have that easy for me. So the people skill is something that I've learned quite quickly. And third is about respecting opinions of communities that works around you lah. Orang Kelantan, orang Johor,
Sebab
Penang,
dekat
Chinese and all
Kelantan
that.
mungkin a bit more conservative. Dekat Penang mungkin a bit more
Very open lah. Masa
kan?
tu Penang kan. I mean, I was probably in my class for Science 1, 5 Science 1. I was like only 3 or 4 Malays.
No.
No, there's a lot of Chinese. So I learned how the Chinese work. I learned how how they think.
Sebab free school Penang free school
Girlfriend mula-mula pun first
Chinese?
one Chinese juga lah. Ini rahsia sikit tau. Tak ramai orang tahu kan. Itu dulu lah. But it's something that I learned, and today I'm proud to say, and this was what 1977. Until today, they are still my friends. We get together quite often.
The Chinese girlfriend still
tak adalah. But both the Malays and the Malay friends and the Chinese friend, and we are close. So you talking about 40 years of friendship. That's a very long time. I'm happy. And they don't care whether I'm a Tan Sri or CEO. As when we meet, we are equal. Yeah, we blend. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a very colorful exposure. And then I'm happy.
Background
Yeah, I'm background. And I think that along the way kind of shapes lah. I could imagine if I would just stay in Kelantan until I'm Form 5 kan. I think I would probably be a different person. I mean, nothing to do with Kelantan, even if I stay in Penang. But when I mix around, then I get that. And that helps frame me to go for my next journey in life, which is to US lah. So kita dah macam-macam Tuhan dah atur kan. Okay, you build the resilience, build the building block, because the next phase is going to be more challenging kan.
Tapi Uncle punya Kelantan route tu I think sampai sekarang pun masih lagi sebab sekarang kan Tan Sri masih dekat selalu pergi masjid. Tu
Senang.
dapat daripada sana.
Now Kelantan, put a Kelantan next to me and the Kelantan will come out very quickly.
But still, you have the
I speak Kelantanese at home. And I go back to Kota Baru every 3 months. I go see my relatives there, my uncle, my aunties, my cousins.
But your kids boleh cakap Kelantan?
No man, not that. They can understand lah, but no, they don't.
Dia sampai dekat you punya level lah. Alright, so Tan Sri, ada tak any cerita daripada zaman Tan Sri kecil dulu, any significant moment that happened in your childhood that you still remember sampai hari ni? Mungkin kisah dengan your dad ke?
Wow. I mean, that's a few lah. It's fact that you've been from different school kan. Every school ada experience sendiri lah. In Penang, Penang Free School, being the only boy, and I'm quite an active person, and I play sports. But one of the things that that also builds my character, I was involved in scouting.
Oh,
Sea Scout.
Boy Scout. Okay.
I mean, Boy Scout. But Sea Scout.
Sea Scout.
The land scout yang biasa.
Sea Scout.
Sea Scout pakai putih lah, pakai topi macam sailor kan, macam Navy kan.
Navy
Kita tak ada kan zaman kita?
Sekarang tak ada dah. I think not already. So I was active in Sea Scout, and as a Sea Scout, and you need to take a few tests, and we aim to take the ultimate is to become a King Scout lah. King Scout means you have to do a test. So I remember one of the tests is you go do hiking. There's 4 of you, stay in a deserted beach. Orang tak nak pergi. There's no access except you have to hike for 2 hours. Stay there for days 3 nights. You tak boleh buat apa-apa. Bawa basic food lah. Tapi pinggan mangkuk, kuali, semua tak boleh bawa. But dia bagi you beras, bagi you sardine, all that. You have to figure out how to cook on your own.
Like survival,
really survival.
This was at the age of?
I was at age of 16, 17.
16, 17.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I don't think kids today go to that lah.
Yeah.
Kita kalau dah pergi camping mana duduk nice camp, rumah ada kan.
Tempat
Camp pun orang buat sendiri.
tempat Puan Sri Tiara punya tempat. Glamping.
Glamping.
Kan. But that really, that scouting experience to me it's about discipline. About how to survive in all odds. Environment, So I think those are the two things, in my mind that kind of shapes lah,
So I think macam today pun kita boleh nampak lah Tan Sri punya level of discipline usually.
Correct.
I tengok lah Tan Sri, orang yang berjaya ni kan, they are always earlier than time.
Yes.
And they always like morning punya orang kan. So I think mungkin benda tu pun Tan Sri dapat daripada masa kecil dulu.
Very true. I mean, over the years, success to some sex, you need to have discipline lah. Tak ada discipline, susah. I mean, kita ni yang suka bangun pagi kan. Subuh, then
start your day.
Start the day.
Start terus.
And you're right. When in Proton, I'm always the first in the office.
Oh yeah.
And I used to remember sampai-sampai kita duduk tepi pagar tunggu orang masuk tengok bandar. So tu bos sampai.
Scary.
just to pass a message lah.
Understand?
But you consistently do it.
I consistently do it. It's you have to make a conscious effort because you want to do a transformation kind of stuff. It's a message that you want to give, right?
Understand?
And the message must start from you lah. So you must walk the talk and really show you. It's serious kan. Kalau you cakap-cakap you pun mata lambat balik awal, then people don't believe in the change you want to make. Yeah. So you must be the chief change officer. That's what I always say. So change starts with you. So you need to demonstrate what the kind of reform that you want to be. So punctuality is something that I'm very, very particular. Kat rumah pun kena kalau siapa-siapa makan lambat, I'm like, kenapa? No, because to me it's not fair. And you are paid to come on time. So amanah kan, kena buat lah.
True.
And you have meetings, people come to meetings, and you datang lambat. So you are wasting other people's time. So it's not correct lah to me kan. So you need to respect the value of time of other people. So I think that's only natural lah. But that shows character lah to me. Kalau orang yang culak-culak masa ni, if important meeting you can also be late. On your own, I cannot imagine what you do lah. Orang tak nampak ni wallahu a'lam kan. So I always judge people by punctuality. Time is, I think, is very important.
Lega sebab kita awal lah ini.
Macam deja vu sikit lah. Because when Tan Sri tells me all this, sounds like macam Riyad
juga.
Like leadership by example. Okay, I think that Tan Sri, you shared how your childhood have developed you and a bit of touch of the memories you had. So, and you briefly mentioned you went to US, right?
Yeah.
So we also read that you used to go to University of Maryland.
That's right.
We're in
Washington
DC.
It's Maryland. Yeah, it's close to Washington DC, about maybe half an hour driving.
Okay. So, can you share a bit, Tan Sri, macam mana pengalaman Tan Sri during your
anak perantauan
anak perantauan and
tak boleh share banyak-banyak kan. Itu zaman orang muda ni kena bahaya sikit. Kena tapis babe.
Kita tengok Tan Sri hari ni macam baik kan.
Nanti keluarkan true colour susah. I cannot say more about that experience lah. I mean, masa tu kita baru fresh from school kan. I never been overseas. Of course, not saying I've been overseas, tapi pergi mana kat Medan, Indonesia. That's all. Singapore.
45 minutes.
Never travel.
Just like 24 hours away.
So when I got scholarship from Petronas, I was lucky enough to get the scholarship from Petronas. So and we were chosen to go to Maryland. And masa interview tu, orang kata apa jurusan ambil kan. So I said, actually mungkin aku nak jadi engineer kot. And I mean, I never thought it was civil, so I didn't like electrical. So I just wanted civil engineer because I like to build things. So masuk lah civil engineer. Bukan kata minat gila pun, tapi thought okay lah. So they sent me to University of Maryland. University of Maryland is a very good school in engineering, and there was about 6 of us. So I still remember dekat Subang International Airport lah masa tu, and my parents there sent me off, the Petronas officer. And people were going to different destinations. So the 6 of us went to University of Maryland. At University of Maryland at that point of time, there's hardly any Malaysians, only 3 Malaysians, and both are postgraduate. Tak pernah ada. This is the first time Malaysian government sending undergraduates to University of Maryland. So bila kita sampai ni, Syaf, we were there, new, of course, yang the five other my friend ni, orang lagi tak pernah, travel lah, and doesn't mungkin Singapore, just all in Malaysia kan. So I was supposed to be their leader lah. So I pergi, kita cari-cari, first we stayed in a hotel for about 4 days. Dan kita tak ada rumah kan. Then we went to school, university, registered, then look for housing lah. So I think that's one, that early point I make a very important decision. My father, I remember masa kat airport, dia pesan lah, kata, now when you go, get a degree, make sure that you pass, you become an engineer, but you also learn about US lah.
Yep.
Learn about people. Kan? I remember that, message that you get. So when I went there, when we were looking for housing, typically berapa enam orang ni cari rumah semua duduk sekali kan. Duduk sama-sama sendiri. So I told my 5 other friends, say, I want to stay on my own. I want to stay dengan Mak Saleh lah. So kata, kenapa? Tak boleh kan. Kata, tak ada. We will see every day lepak, but I just want to do this. Kan. So they live among themselves, 5 of them. I think.
They live among themselves?
3 bedroom apartment, carilah. I mean, we all help each other. And me, I rented a room in a house that has other people lah. Mak Saleh, ada Iranian, ada Jewish border kan. Of course, I don't know who they are, but I just went, I think, look. So I was given a basement room kan.
Yep.
Purely because I just want to integrate myself
With the
among the community. Yeah, of course, there's a boundaries lah that you do kan, makan, kena semayang and all that. But every day I will meet my 5 other friends. We go together very close. I go masalan, we go to the apartment, we cook. But when I come back home and I stay among. So I made real good friends also among the others kan. So that's one really important decision that I make lah, and to that it can also builds my character lah. Of course, you see also the good thing and the bad things. Dalam rumah kan, dengan orang mabuk, orang isap ganja, ya Allah.
That's it, tak join sekali kan?
Oh no, that's one thing I'm proud of. I managed to stay away from that. But it's interesting lah,
I think orang-orang lama ni, I mean the ones that studied in the US apa dulu-dulu, diorang boleh control benda ni. Kan maksudnya bila orang minum ke orang isap ganja ke, dia boleh tepis. Tapi macam budak-budak sekarang ni macam beza sikit.
Influence, I think it's obviously ketahanan diri lah. Jadi diri lah.
Mungkin jati diri tu ditanam
daripada awal
masa muda kan.
So that was one important. So of course I went study engineering, then one of the thing that also I think builds masa tu you get a scholarship and you go to Maryland. Maryland is considered dekat Washington DC mahal lah as compared to those that has been sent to Southern Illinois, Indiana kan. I think the cost of living is much cheaper. For the same amount of money that you paid, you get a bit more. So my father couldn't afford to give me the allowance, so I need to get the extra money. So I worked from the second semester until my last year.
Kerja apa
I work. Angka kerja macam-macam. I work as bus boy, clean dishes.
Tiket.
No, I mean
bus boy,
clean dishes in the cafeteria. Waiter. I work as a football referee. That's the best part. Pagi rekap ada masalah. You're out. I work as a truck driver. Delivering printed, stationery for the university. So I work, and I look forward to getting my paycheck at the end of the month. So the value of money I really cherish. Of course, scholarship, but it's not enough to have a life. To have a life. I mean, travel kan. So I every spring break I would travel. Every holiday, me and my friend jom beli kereta, jom jalan. I visit my friend kat Illinois. I went to Boston. I went to New York. And I went to Buffalo. So travel lah kan. But on a scholarship, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, you want to buy decent clothes and nak pergi enjoy kan, this kind of thing. And those are the thing kan. So I make it a point. Of course, you need to balance between work and the expense of study lah. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a 4 flat person lah. But I pass because my point is I would get a degree, because kalau Petronas ni, kalau you fail, you go below certain CGPA, they tarik balik scholarship. So you need to maintain a certain GPA for sure. But I want to learn more. But that's something that I make. And I was a member of the Chinese Student Association. Malaysian student tak ada apa, 6 orang. Tak ada apa. I was a member of
itu jugalah.
I was a member of the Indonesian Student Association, and I was active among them. So they took it just where I am. Then I played hockey for the university. Field hockey. I was active in sport when I was in Penang. I played hockey and I was an athlete. So I played hockey. Then I traveled with the university, to go to a tournament in Toronto, in New York, Indiana. So it gives me a good balance in life, And when I look back, it's experience that money cannot buy, And if I took a different position, not to say that I will be different, but I think I will be a different individual.
Yep.
If that first 1 week, if I said I'm going to stay with my friends, I'm other Malaysian, I think I'll be different.
Yeah.
So like you lah, both of you in your life kan, ada situation you kena buat keputusan kan, and the wisdom of other people, then you just have to make decision, and that is basically a turning point. So in that period of the 5 years that I was there, those are I think things that I do that have mold me as the right person and of course engineering kan, and kat Maryland kita tak pernah keluar. You engineer ni, kalau you pergi sekolah, pergi kelas semua mainly boys saja. I mean kalau ada girls pun tomboy lah sikit lah. So I remember there's one class that I took, and it's called Psychology 101. And the reason why Ashraf that I took because I just want to be among the ladies.
Ada banyak awet.
Banyak awet kan. Tak je. But it's an elective. So I just took pass fail lah. Tak je, bukan nak belajar. But I learned a lot. It's a Psychology 101.
But the people skill ataupun awet ngorat ni skill yang belajar.
Both. But itulah orang kata masa lah mana muda semua kita go to that space lah kan. Nakal-nakal sikit lah, tapi berpada-pada lah kan. Kalau tak ada nakal, tak adalah colourful life kan. That builds your character kan.
Betul. Ada jantan lah.
Ada jantan story kan.
So I think Tan Sri, you shared that even from before you went to US, I think the lesson there is the same, where you have adaptability, and also where you go for sports, it probably have developed your disciplinary
Many people
traits as well.
they know that I was the champion in Penang for 110 meter hurdles.
Wow. Ada lompat.
Lompat pagar.
Lompat pagar.
I was in champion. I was supposed to present Penang in the Malaysian Games.
Wow.
Tapi boleh percaya sebab Tan Sri tinggi.
Ada tinggi kan. So kalau nak lompat tak boleh.
I mean, to be in sports, you perlukan disiplin.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
from
you need to have discipline. Yeah.
Correct.
Sure.
Correct. So then after that, you came back to Malaysia, start your
First work
in Petronas as a project engineer, and after that you worked and moved into the corporate planning and international business development unit. Can you share a bit your experience macam mana after that when you joined in Petronas?
Okay. Graduating as a engineering student.
Correct.
Macam mana tu?
Okay, I think let's rewind sikit sebelum Petronas. When I finished in 1985, I worked for about 9 months in US after I graduate. But Petronas.
9 months, not immediately.
No, I mean after graduate uni, I kerja dulu. Tak balik dari Malaysia dulu. So, but I thought I could work for a few years. But then Petronas called back. Okay,
under Petronas punya scholarship, right?
Yeah. So we came back. But when we came back, there was no job because as soon as we were about to come back, I think there was a recession. It was 1985.
Yep.
85.
Yeah. So Petronas masa tu tak ada kerja lah. So kita ni dah dapat degree kan. Kita tak ada kerja. Gila babe. Kata mana-mana ni kan. Ada kan, rely on parents kan. I want to earn my own money. So I was in KL. I stayed at my friend's house lah. My housemate. Dekat US. Dia ada rumah kat sini. He's from a well-to-do family. So aku nak cari kerja lah. Sementara aku tunggu kan while waiting for Petronas. So my first job actually, Ashraf was a Italian furniture salesman. Tak percaya kan. Jalan Ampang. That showroom now is converted to a Proton showroom.
Oh, you take over juga.
I'm an engineer, wanting to sell Italian furniture. And Italian furniture, masa that time, bukan murah.
Yalah.
Ni nanti ni, Vai,
During
10,000, 20,000 ni mahal. It's like, a few 100,000 today, value of money,
Yes.
kan? So
What was the
kita
brand? Ingat tak? Nama brand.
I cannot remember lah. But it's all Italian. I know it's important. I had to baca. But adalah yang masuk-masuk tu bukan orang calon-calon datin-datin. Bukan tak repot kan. So at that point tak pernah jual kan. You have to go the skill. And basic pay, your additional is the commission that you get in selling. Oh, masa tu ayat power, babe. Kena baca. Nak kena kelintung. Aduh. Then there was another experience. About selling and marketing.
Yes.
It's not no more your longest. It's your ability to sell.
To goreng.
Like a better word, kan? Ability to goreng becomes very important. So I think I worked about 7 to 8 months. Then of course Petronas finally called and said, look, we got a job for you. So okay, I went to Petronas and I worked in Petronas Gas as engineer. Alhamdulillah, I was lucky. I was assigned to this project. You remember those time Petronas built a pipeline from Kerteh to Singapore, the gas pipeline.
Yep.
It's about 743 kilometers of gas. I was a pipeline engineer at that point in time, and I worked with consultant, Mak Saleh juga lah, Canadian, Novacorp. So our job is in PWDC design lah. So actually, set up the design work, how to lay pipe, in the ground, how to make sure that it's welded properly, how to be operated. So at that point in time, I was happy, and I got an opportunity to go to Canada to do training because Petronas said, okay, now that you are going to build a pipeline, somebody has to operate the pipeline. No one has been commissioned. So our partner was Canadian. So I was sent to Calgary and Edmonton for about 6 months to learn at the company, Novacorp in Canada, to learn how to operate. It's in winter. I mean, freezing cold, in Calgary and Edmonton during winter, it's freezing cold.
Yep.
So we worked. So when we came back, then because of that experience, then they assigned me to be in Segamat, where that's the operation center lah. So all this while, I'm happy as an engineer lah. I go to the right of way, hutan, pasang pipe, lepas tu pergi inspection, buat pigging, balik buat reporting, then we go and do the, naik helicopter, walk, drive, see the right away lah. Tengok ada land erosion and all that. Then I think that's one point. Then I said, this is not me lah. I want to do something more. I don't mind engineering, tapi macam tak apa lah. You come to lah, something's missing somewhere. So I didn't know what to do. So but I did met somebody and a neighbor of mine, namanya Armin Effendi. He was recruited to be Petronas to create this what we call international business development. Then he said, hey, Syed, you want to join me? I was in Segamat. I thought, join apa? Kata, business development lah, international business, talk about ASEAN. I think you got the people skill. Yep. You're in the US, you can speak. You have some, business acumen. You know about technical. You're engineer. I think senang for you to learn. So then I came to KL. The weekend talked to him. I said, okay lah. So I actually
Pindah.
Minta. I quit the job in Petronas again, masuk dalam corporate planning.
Tapi is under the same company, under
Petronas juga lah, but different division lah. But maknanya you took a career step that you're not going to be an engineer anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think one of the also thing that make me decide, masa tu when I was in Segamat, I got married to Kak Jala. So when I was married, I was in Segamat. She was in KL. So every weekend husband lah. 5 of us the drive because all of us family kat Penang kan. I think this is not on lah. And I think we were expecting Adam lah at that point of time. I think it's not right.
Adam is your first son,
First son, yeah. So I said, I need to make a decision. So that helps me to make that decision faster. So I said, tak tahu apa masa business development, I'm just going to do it. Because if not, by the time Adam get born, I'm going to susah lah, kesian kan. It's not fair for her to be alone. So I made a decision. I don't know what actually. Went to business development. Then I was in charge of Southeast Asia, which is Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and to develop business for Petronas. So what we do is, we're not the operating unit, so we work people from the refinery, people from the gas, but my job is to write proposal lah, so. And how to create the business, go, so I would travel to Vietnam with my boss, I would travel to Cambodia, and then I was assigned to open the Petronas office in Hanoi and in Phnom Penh. That was my KPI. Masa tu, imagine kat Vietnam, mana ada bank, mana ada credit card. Bawa cash, babe.
Petronas punya cash lah.
US dollars. Yeah, cash.
But can you?
You know what I mean? I draw. I mean, but I think I brought $200,000 US dollars.
Wow, that's a
But
lot
you
of
had to
money,
declare and everything,
Declare lah. I know about that. But then because you had to buy, I need to rent a house, renovate, beli TV, beli katil, beli furniture, semua set up for.
So you stayed there in Vietnam?
In Vietnam. So I go to Hanoi every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Pergi balik kan. So and then of course work in Petro Vietnam. So that's another, for an engineer, I had the skill of discipline of facts. You know, so I'm very. I always rely on facts. Then that trip when I was in international business, I learned about strategy. I know about corporate development and kena present ni. Imagine lagi you masa tu I was about 32 years old kan. Pergi present ke Petro Vietnam. Kan umur dah 60 kan. Talk about refinery. You know, I mean, and then ada interpreter. So really you have to watch people, understand them, you know, and have lunch with them, find out more about the business, how to become close to them. Cambodia pun sama. Buka stesen minyak, you know. I actually negotiate to open 11 petrol station Petronas in Cambodia.
Wow.
Negotiate dengan gangster Cambodia ni kan. Ada pistol tepi ni. This is all real stories, you know. But negotiate Petronas, that's what Petronas asked me to do.
I'm sure Petronas wouldn't send you if they didn't know you wouldn't.
I mean, I'm sure there was a reason lah. But there was another part of my life that really builds, you know, and from
that's like starting a business juga lah in many ways.
Super lah. And you talk about the strategy, you talk about the financial, the value benefit, you talk about the people kan. Of course, you're not the area operator, but to put a proposal and for Petronas to sign an agreement, you know, sama juga Petro Minyak. When I opened the office in Cambodia, we opened about 12 petrol stations, signed the lease agreement, the whole team duduk berkhemah dalam hotel, negotiate, hire people to operate, get the products out, masuk dalam, you know, logo. All this is business. But I was not running it lah, but I was in charge to start it up. And that's an experience that to me builds me for the next phase of life.
Yeah.
Kan? So kena funny kan, Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala buat satu-satu fasa kan. Ini semua dah diatur. So when I look back, it's just everything has been guided lah to some extent kan, you know. And the question is, you didn't have to understand what's your purpose in life and all that. So that part of Petronas, I think, and you know, Petronas is very structured.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I feel proud, you know, that I'm a Petronas scholar. Of course, I've served Petronas, you know, from Petronas Gas, and I went to international business. And I was in corporate planning, and I work hard lah. Masa tu memang lah, you know, I work hard. And I still remember one particular. I just want to share this with audience.
Yes.
Ni cerita gila lah dengan Petronas kan. I was in Petronas, I was in Phnom Penh, and I was told to look for a refinery in at a port called Sihanoukville, which is about 200 kilometers away. Cuba kata, why don't you go and look at the refinery and tell us the report lah. It's okay. So I went to ambassador, say, let's arrange for security. Masa tu Phnom Penh is not as safe lah.
Yeah.
Masa tu dengan kemeru semua kan. So we duduk kat Sofitel Cambodian, I remember stay the hotel, dan dua kita datang, a colonel and 2 military cars. Masuk, I was belakang, ada kawan duduk depan. So every car, me and one of us, the Petronas, and askar with me as a colonel. And depan driver askar lah, yes, police drive Sihanoukville. Keluar. So the colonel give me a pistol.
Give you?
Again lah, this is for you. Why didn't? Just in case.
Scary.
Ingat nak melawat. So okay lah. I was a scout kan. So,
you knew how to.
So I know. Because we went and go to the firing range, you know, and all that. So tengoklah magazine. Tengok ada satu bullet je. Pelik kan? So I thought, kenapa? Why you giving me a revolver with one bullet? Dia ketawa. This is, you know, if you meet the Kemerus, if something happen, this bullet is not to shoot the Kemerus, it's to shoot yourself.
Whoosh.
I'm serious. This is not a joke.
No way.
Lepas tu I do dalam kereta dah mati aku.
To shoot yourself. Maksudnya dia memang tak ada point lah lawan.
Check you better don't go to the torture lah. You just shoot yourself. So anyway, when we drive, so there are many roadblocks, about 15 roadblock. So every time the roadblock, the police will alamindo, baling okok. Waktu tu dia okok is like macam tu. Then do it lah. Kemudian kan. Then lepas. We went back. We stayed in Sanotville for one night. Then we came back. I tell you the experience. I tell you, kita nak kecut. And when you pass a zone, you can see the police, the army kat depan dah dengan dia punya AK-47 is already on guard. Because it's a very tense area. Because at that time, I remember when we did the news, a few people were kidnapped by the Khmer-Rouge. Because it's a very hostile environment kan. So, but masa tu because instruction tak terfikir pun pasal danger kan. We go. So when we came back, dah senang. So they took us to a shooting ring. Tembak bawa belah pagi.
After the nervous roller coaster, betul bagi.
But I was very young then. I was about 33 years old.
Tapi agak gila lah untuk Petronas hantar.
No, of course. All those, nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, we didn't anticipate the kind of danger. But I think the ambassador kind of make sure that we are protected like that. But that is the discovery that we went through, and again, that part, builds a different character of yourself, how do you adapt, how you avoid danger, how you can sniff, risk, mitigate risk and all that. And living in Cambodia and Hanoi at that point in time, and this is countries that's about 15 or 20 years behind us. Kan, kat Hanoi pun tak ada air fresh. Buka, kalau nak mandi kat hotel, ambil mineral water 2 tong, mandi dengan mineral water. Bilas bukan air dia kotor kan. That's the situation that they're in. But you do it for the nation lah, and and before we actually renovated the house and we stayed at the office lah. Mata duduk the office. Rumah kat office, duduk kat office lah. So I mean that's how I started Petronas. Then when I left, I think I left Petronas in 1995 after serving my contract for 10 years.
97 I think you went to Highcom pula.
Highcom, I wanted to do something different.
So after your journey dekat Petronas ni, Tan Sri berhijrah ke automotive industry pula. And I think this is the industry that you are super well known for lah. And you were appointed as GM and after that as the CEO of Highcom Holdings Berhad. So how was your transition of your career growth daripada dekat Petronas as someone yang macam mungkin masa tu senior juga tapi not as a GM ataupun CEO punya level kan, and transition to the CEO ataupun GM punya position ni pula.
And after 10 years serving my contract, I said, I've got oil and gas lah. So I said, look, I'm always ambition. You always look forward lah kan. Where you want to be in your life kan. You want to be an oil man? Okay lah, you stay at Petronas. But I said, okay lah, oil is good. But at that point in time, I think manufacturing was the key driver for the economy. Heavy manufacturing. So I said, look, I want to get something like, again, back to what I like to do, build things. Rasa buat story ni okay lah, tapi you want to get your hands dirty, right? So I said, okay, who's the best company in Malaysia that's about heavy industry? Let's do Highcom lah. So kebetulan I have a friend in Highcom. I said, hey, look, nak aku early enough for interview. And so I went for an interview. And they look at my background and I said, okay, I will hire you as a manager for business development, but assign you to this new project that they want to do, which is a commercial project. So I don't know what the project was. So I took the job, it was good pay. I left Petronas. Then they assigned me into this. So the project was to build the first, what we call commercial vehicle for the country. Masa tu kita ada Perodua, ada Proton, tapi tak ada national commercial vehicle. Lori lah.
Lorry.
Commercial vehicle. So they assigned me to that project, and we were supposed to work with Tata, then they told me Isuzu. Then after that, I was assigned to Pekan to build up the factory. So I built masa tu DRB Highcom was on a load. Then at that time Tan Sri Yaya took over, arwah Tan Sri Yaya took over the Highcom at that point in time. Then becomes DRB Highcom. So bila di Highcom ni, the plan will have to be in Pekan lah, because that's where the base of DRB. So I was assigned, masa tu I was just a manager, project manager. So my job was to build the factory. So I went to the partner with Isuzu. So I went to keep on pergi balik dengan Jepun lah. I was in Tokyo. Go back, and then build up the plant. So Adam and Auntie was so I stayed in Pekan.
Jawab kat KL.
KL weekend lah.
Weekend husband again.
Weekend husband again. Because my wife was working and Adam was going to school. Kan? It's not fair for me to relocate. I just wanted to get the proper education. So back to a weekend husband again. So 3 years I worked I built up from scratch. It's a greenfield plant. It became factory, commission. Then we launched the Highcom Perkasa.
That's the name of
that's the name of the truck lah. So that was my first association to a national project. Masa tu Tumade, he came in, he launched a national truck called Highcom Perkasa, and then Alhamdulillah, when the first CEO left, I was promoted to be the CEO of that company lah, the commercial vehicle company. So everything's fine, I was a CEO already, and that time I was already about 38 years old. So Alhamdulillah, I think quite young. Sekolah kan, the driver. But still, weekend husband. I say, salah, not on lah. And I think Auntie was expecting my Hakim lah, my next son. I said, I need to make a decision lah. And this cannot prolong lah. And risky second son has, I think, Allah determine the risky of your children. So at that point in time, Perodua offer came, the CEO Perodua knew what I did in Highcom, and then I said, okay, why do you want to come back? Dia pun tahu I nak balik kan. Dia pancing lah. So you want to come back? I was a CEO, but I then went to Perodua. I was only a senior GM. But to me, name doesn't matter lah. Perodua was a big company. I was comfortable with Isuzu in Japan, Perodua, Daihatsu, Toyota. So I said, okay, the culture is about the same. It's also a national, project. So I masuk jadi senior GM. So that was real buat kita buat truck Tuhan lain kan, ni baru nak buat kita. And then Daihatsu kan.
So I think that is the CEO days pula lah. Yang tadi tu kira macam pre-CEO lah kan.
Correct.
So I think we have learned quite a lot about Tan Sri punya background.
Yes.
Kan? And I think thank you juga to Tan Sri for sharing, especially your background, childhood background, and then kisah-kisah nakal sikit sampai masuk Petronas, and then sampai masuk Highcom kan.
And how it has built you to
how
who
it's
you are
built your
today.
character. And I think perjalanan tu membuatkan kita faham lah macam mana Tan Sri ni boleh jadi macam sekarang ni, the character yang hari ni kan. So we're going to take a short break, and after the break we're going to go dive into the CEO days lah, the Perodua, the Proton, the Petronas days. And so to our audience out there, so make sure you guys catch us after the break.
Yes.
Right?
Stay tuned.
Alright. Alright, welcome back to Apa Cerita Podcast bersama kita dan juga Tan Sri Syed Zainal Abidin.
Yes.
So the first half of the segment kita dah banyak bercerita. And now we're going to continue on with the the third segment already, which is the CEO days.
Yes. So we hope you guys dapat banyak manfaat from the first segment, and now this is the sweet part of
the juicy one.
Yeah, the juicy part.
one.
Yes.
The one
but
that
before
we can
that,
learn a lot.
again, we want to remind everybody out there, please do subscribe. It will help our algorithm in our mission untuk beri manfaat kepada lagi ramai youth out there. InsyaAllah. So Tan Sri, you touched a bit your transition between from Highcom towards Perodua as a GM. So pada tahun 1999, Tan Sri dilantik sebagai pengurusi besar kanan Perodua dan seterusnya sebagai pengarah eksekutif Perodua Auto Corporation. Antara kejayaan yang sangat signifikan adalah pelancaran Perodua Myvi. Siapa tak ada Myvi dekat rumah?
King of the road.
King of the road. I pun selalu teringin juga nak Myvi.
My first ever car that I driven was Myvi, warna orange. I think that was one of the colour juga, the original colour kan.
Many stories about Myvi.
Pada tahun 2005. Kan Tan Sri ceritakan perjalanan Tan Sri di Perodua.
And maybe some stories about the king of the road.
Yes, exactly how it came
I
about.
think Perodua really, sets the real foundation of me from an automotive industry. Like remember before I was in Highcom commercial vehicle quite simple lah. So when I'm Perodua is a joint venture between Malaysia and Japanese company lah, Daihatsu. So I was in charge. I was senior GM at that point in time. I was in charge of manufacturing. I mean, the whole plant was under mine. I mean, that's where
You started as senior GM.
Senior GM, reporting to the group MD lah, and the group MD at the time was a Japanese. But I was in charge of manufacturing. When I worked with the Japanese, there was also my Japanese counterpart lah. But managing the day-to-day operation, orang, material become my responsibility. And this is where I learned the discipline about going down to the ground lah. Kalau Jepun ni orang panggil gemba kan.
Ya, gemba. Gemba walk.
Tu pergi gemba, walk on the floor lah.
Yeah.
So pekerja saya pagi-pagi is pagi, I go to the office, see the production, then I just walk the floor.
Yep.
In and out, from one to the other, to exercise lah kan. But I just want to understand the operation, solve problem, people issue, part tak sampai lah, kadang quality, then penghujung I want to make sure the quality of the car. And I was fortunate enough, Ashraf Ishak, to be sent to Japan for 6 months because they saw me and they said, okay, Tan Sri, we want to mold you as the next managing director of Perodua lah.
Wow.
But to do that, you have to go to a certain training. So I was sent for 6 months
6
training.
months.
Seorang lah.
Dekat mana?
Dekat Osaka.
Osaka, Jepun.
Osaka, Jepun, and I work in the factory in Daihatsu. There's one particular story that I want to share with you and the audience, that until today. So I went to Daihatsu. I mean, I was a senior GM kan, bukanlah kita orang bawah-bawah kan.
Yep.
Yalah, tinggi
So
lah.
nak pergi training. So my view, the training kat Jepun ni, kita nak duduk office lah. Jadi
Yeah.
boss kan.
Yeah.
How to manage and that. So I went to report to Mr. Higashi, I remember. Masa tu, he's the VP of manufacturing. So Higashi-san, I'm here for the reporting. Okay, Zana-san, come. So dia kata, okay, dia bagi briefing sikit. Lepas tu, the next day datang, nak start training lah. So I was excited lah. Okay, bagi dia kata training, Zana-san, you follow this guy nama, I cannot remember, Oishi-san ke. Bawa dalam kilang. So there's one circle kat kilang kan. So Zana-san, please stand on the circle. Kita, okay. Mamak suruh berdiri dulu lah. So I berdiri lah circle kan. Then just watch. Okay, dia suruh tunggu. Lepas tu dia belah.
Dia watch apa? Watch the...
Just watch the operation lah. Dia kata, mamak ni kan, ajar aku, I'm a senior GM, takkan ni training kan. So I'm just, kata, okay lah, ikut orang suruh kan. Duduk, and then watch. Dalam kilang kan, you like to watch. So tengok lah, tengok. Then lunch break. Batang break, letak balik, watch lagi. So balik. So that was my training first day. So second day, kata, okay lah mungkin. So report to Kasih-san. Kasih-san, please proceed. Oh, isi bawa lagi.
Pergi circle.
Pergi another circle pula. In the factory. So I got very upset sih lah. Kata, mamak ni aku datang nak training kan.
Macam kena bully.
Kena bully je ke mana. So after 1 week, I call my boss lah. Kata, ya Rasan, I'm having, why they send me to sit in the circle, send the circle for a week. Where's the training? Geram lah. Kita masa tu tempo kan. I think he called there. So the next week I went to the factory and then I said, I met Higashi lah. I said, Zana-san, I heard you were not happy last week. Yeah, Higashi-san, I come training, So dia kata, okay, you follow me. So dia bawa saya. Said, Git, stand in circle. Ini Higashi lah.
lagi.
Okay. So I kata, okay, Zana-san, last week what did you learn? I said, what do you see? So I said, yeah, I see, parts moving. I see, people, installing this in the car and all that. No, what do you see, Zana-san? Why did he ask me? I said, I answered your question. I said, no, what actually do you see? So I answered the same thing. I said, no, that's not what. Lepas tu dia cerita. You see that? That guy is moving. One other person is, kan kita kan sebelah orang kerja, sebelahnya buat kerja kan. Dia kata, see that guy is still working, but the other guy sebelah ni is now idle. Tak buat kerja apa. What do you see? I see he's not working. Now that's wastage. That is inefficiency. And that cannot happen. Baru I realise kan, the training of Toyota and Daihatsu, for you to be a boss, Zana-san, if you want to be a boss, you must learn the first fundamentals about observation. Mierka lah panggil.
Mierka.
Observe and the visual. Then you know what is efficient, what's not efficient. That's one thing until today, Ashraf, man. Uncle kalau pergi mana, when I was in Perodua, kena Proton mana, I go and I observe. And I'm trained to know and to see where are the wastage, are the inefficiency. By just spending, kat Petronas Station pun akan tengok, ini orang menunggu 10 minit, 5 minit menunggu, inefficient. This is not a good experience. But that's very important. So I came back after training on semangat lah, I'm training, and then they say, okay, we want to do the king of the road, Myvi.
But Tan Sri, the training 6 months tu is just observation?
No, the first 2 weeks lah. Lepas tu, you bagi dia lain lah. Kalau 6 bulan, video lah. Training. Asyik duk pandang je, mati.
Hari-hari pergi kerja berduduk situ.
Okay lah. But they send to me different part of training. But generally, it's right. It's all about understanding and observation. It's not because managing, it's not difficult. But if you don't understand the crux of the business, what's happening on the front floor, you say you might not be a good manager. That's rule number 1. So when I came back, then I came back, I become the executive director, ED, of the entire plant and the company. So we want to do the first king of the road lah, Myvi.
And so, before that tak ada Myvi lah.
Tak ada lagi. Myvi is a joint between Datsu sekali. Kalau kat Jepun panggil Toyota Datsu Bun.
We've seen some.
Kalau kat dia panggil Toyota Passo. Kita Myvi lah. So we came out with the name Myvi, and I can say today, you can ask siapa father Myvi, ini dia.
Itu yang cakap dengan dia orang. Kita ada Tun Mahathir sebagai bapa pemodenan, Syed Zainal sebagai bapa Myvi.
And the whole idea was to compete against Proton lah. So we spent about 24 months, developing the product. I was also went to Japan, meeting, visit a lot of factories, vendor, create testing, and I really put the best discipline what I've learned in Japan about manufacturing, about quality. And the Toyota president or the vice president came to do the final inspection to say, okay, you have passed the quality. And I tell you, Ashraf, Uncle worked so hard. We spent sleepless night just to make sure the car, because everything delivers. The quality is. But Myvi came out and launched, and we never expect Myvi to hit like nobody's business. The first couple of weeks, the booking was crazy. We had to double the shift, double the capacity, and of course today the rest is history lah kan.
Do you remember the first year how many Myvi did you guys sell?
I think we registered about 100 over 1,000. I think we only expected about 30-40 ribu je. And then of course that one we rattle the enemy lah.
Tripled.
So the strange thing is, I was given a sign to build Myvi. The objective apa dia is to beat Proton. So I was already the MD, the ED. Then I think in 2005, because of the success of Myvi, and they promoted me as the deputy managing director of Perodua. Supposed to be the next MD lah. Then the national call came.
Then after your success in Proton, Proton needed you pula.
I mean, it was a process. I mean, they went to interviews. So I think the headhunter called me and said, hey, Syed, nak pergi interview tak? Untuk apa? Then he described lah, so I kind of knew who the company was. So I went interview lah. The board interviewed me, and I was not the only candidate. There was many other foreign candidates. So after the interview, I said, Sinyak tak ada kot. So I just went on my own. And suddenly I got a call, said, look, the chairman want to see you. So the man of the board, Proton came.
Who was the chairman?
Azlan. I said, we decided to hire you as the MD. So I betul ke ni? And I
but shit, man. Perodua, were you the CEO or?
No, I was the deputy MD.
Deputy. Okay.
No, I mean, it's just
naik pangkat lah ni.
But 2 years I will be the MD anyway. Kan? I mean, the Jepun matter, you want to localize, you want to be the Malaysian to be the MD, and then you look fit to be the MD because you have the DNA and all that. So then, of course, so I say, I don't know how I'm gonna. So, but it's I'm always like challenged lah. So, all you are all the same. So I said, this is challenging lah. I was supposed to kill this company. Now I'm supposed to sell it. Wow, that's a very unique experience. I think, and I know the people on the other side. It's small work. So I don't know whether they're gonna.
This is the lesson.
Accept me, But the government really wants to. Then send money into PM. PM say okay.
Who was the PM at that time? Tun or
No, Abdullah.
Abdullah.
Abdullah Pala. So it's okay. So then I came in. Came alone, and of course people say, hey, Perodua, small brother come to go big brother. So when I went to Proton and I look at, from outside I can understand how it works and what went wrong, from my perspective. So when I go there, again, same basic principle. I spend a lot of days, first couple of months is just, listening to people. Just, betul.
Yeah.
Talking, meeting, presentation. Then just walk the floor. Jalan kilang tengok. Then went to the vendors. Then, normally after the 100 days, then you have your own opinion. So I presented the board exactly what I wanted to do, the kind of changes I want to make, and, the kind of product. So then I just went for execution. And when you have a real plan, and then you execute, of course there's fine tuning here and there. But basically is to, because Proton at that point in time was losing market share. Thanks to me juga lah. Not to me saja lah, to the whole Perodua family, and it was under attack, and I think there were a lot of bad reviews and experience from the customer.
I think at that time they had Juara, all the weird cars.
Juara, Savvy, Gen 2, when competitor when the other competitor launched a car, we were the first to go to the showroom. Test dulu, and I tahu betul tak belajar. They would do the same to us. So kata kita ni tak boleh. Because we know the economics of the car, the functionality doesn't fit the audience that he was trying to position. So that's what I inherited. And how do I reverse the fortune of Proton at that point in time? So I went to the board and said, these are the things that I need to do. Quality is one. So that's where I spent a lot of time improving the quality, all the best practices I learned, and coming up with models that is what people need. And we need to kill the bad models even though we have to invest it, and because to build a car is about 600-700 million ringgit they have to spend.
600-700 million?
Yeah, among
per model.
Per model
lah.
Yeah, if you don't spend that amount of money, if you kita tak boleh letak laku, that's 700 million burn down the drain. You cannot recoup. Yeah. And it's not like you boleh tukar kereta pintu ni nak pakai untuk kereta lain, tak boleh. The models are different.
So I think you streamline the models as well, right?
No, because there were too many platforms.
Platform.
And platform ni typically one platform should have 3 or 4 variants. Tapi Proton masa tu one platform satu variant. So it's not
tak efficient lah.
Tak efficient lah. For whatever reason, that's people don't do that. So we need to rationalize lah. So there was a lot of rationalize the platform to make sure there's efficiency. There is also commonization of component. Typically in a car, Ashraf, what people see must be different. What people don't see can be common. Pintu nampak lain, tapi belakang pintu ikut komponen super je. Whether you are Volkswagen Passat, Volkswagen Golf, sama. Everybody does that, but Proton took a different approach that point in time.
I think even Tesla pun kan, they streamline semua.
So you commonize. 70% are common because you want to save cost. So we need to make that decision to realign everything, and that takes a long time to realign. So then my time first come out better models lah. So I think
came out with Preve, right?
No, I think we came out with the Persona was the first one. The
Very
Gen,
nice.
Gen 2 sudah. I think Persona lived quite well, quite high demand. Then we had to refresh the Saga. Saga was old, the old sedan. I think we came up. Then of course there was the Exora, the first MPV they did. I mean that was really. I can write a book lah about Exora.
I think even the name was made from the public, right?
From public,
the public gave the name.
Then of course my last was a Preve lah. So again, I was one of the few lah, Ashraf, I think that had the opportunity to be with 3 national projects. the National Commercial Vehicle, which
Triple P, what mentioned.
then Perodua, the king of the road, Myvi,
Yes.
and of course Proton, the national car. I don't think anyone can claim to have that level of experience. I mean, this is risky Allah SWT bagi,
Except
kan.
for yourself.
I get that. So that's why I did today. The automotive man, people will say the first face to come to me will be Saizana. Kan? For that reason, not because of another reason, but because people, it becomes synonym. Kan?
Yep.
So I've that stage in Proton was very important to me. Was number one from a business point of view. Focus on what you want to do, quality, product development, cost efficiency. Then at the end of the day, it's always the customer. Like, I'm one of the few. Dulu kalau kita design kan, kita tak pernah ajak customer dah penghujung. When I design Exora, a classic example, first thing I do, I say, look, call the customer. So we call Melayu, Cina, Makcik, professional. What do you want in the car lah, in MPV? Even before we start designing, So they came in, they say, I want this, I want that, what? So I say, okay, I told my engineers, remember all this. So when we design this car, this is our customer saying, you are not a customer, I'm not a customer, but all these features. So the development of the Exora developed to really please the customer in all levels of functionality. That is from a design point of view lah. Then the people that I signed, I said I don't want to orang tua lah, because ni untuk orang young family.
Yes.
So I took a young guy, nama dia Izzah, to be a project director. I said, Izzah, imagine we're building this car for your family. How do you want the car to look like? You're from a safe point of view, your anak dua seat kat belakang macam mana kan? So dia internalize he himself, rather than person that doesn't care about the car, just a car, just another product. So he put his soul in the project. Then of course I put few other kaidah lah, about. I told them, you malam ni, because I believe one thing, Ashraf Israq kan, as a Muslim, you can make the best car, but you need to have barakah, berkat daripada Allah SWT. So in Exora, as one of the project, I told specifically every meeting for this Exora project must begin with a Fatiha. No compromise.
MashaAllah.
I said, it's a rule. I said, you sanggup tak sanggup? So he did it. So after 17 months, we keep on track. It was below budget, quality pun kurang. So I said, what lesson do you learn out of this? Simple lesson is, you might have the best brain, but if you don't have barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the product would be good. So that was what I wanted to teach the people in Proton. You can see you are proud, but you must not forget, what make people buka hati untuk beli kita ni, Allah SWT. Betul. Kan?
True.
Kalau tuan dia, everybody in Malaysia, please don't buy Proton car. Mati kita.
Yeah.
Kan? But that's fundamental. Not because you're smart, not because the car is cheap. Betul lah. But because Allah SWT opens people.
Yeah.
That I believe, sorry. So that was a message that I want to tell the people. Don't be too proud lah.
Yes.
And we have to be humble. Go back to basic. And that's what I was trying to instill lah. You want to go into an organization, you want to leave something behind. You want to leave a lesson. First up about, not just about P&L.
Yeah.
So that when you leave, people, you want to remember something. During your stewardship, what do you remember? Today, like what Riyad said, I'm a gamba guy. Kerja, tak boleh, tak tidur diam. 2-3 hari go tengah dengan mesin ni, I feel rindu. I need to go down. I need to hear. And I actually go pasang tayar, pasang pintu. I just want to learn, because one is a customer. Your operator, you tak buat kerja kan. Dia kerja pagi 8-5 petang. Is he in pain or not? Kan? Kita senang nak komen kan. Cuba kita angkat.
Cuba buat sendiri.
Buat sendiri. Letih.
Yeah.
Then say, now yourself. So you need to then modernize your process to make sure that your people come out senang kerja. But you're not able to do that by just listening to reports.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. And quality carbon in Toyota, when I was doing, the MD of Toyota and Dasu will then inspect the car. Hujung. Dia sendiri check. So I did that in Perodua. In Proton, bila I check, orang terkejut. Apa MD? I want to check. And I will see things that people don't see. I say, why is this? Why is the gap like that? Then baru orang tahu that I cannot do this anymore. But you have to take that stewardship. If
Kalau
you don't
orang
do
nak
that-
kelentong pun I see with my own eyes. Who you want to kelentong?
That's very good
another-
point.
yeah.
Very good point. Orang tak boleh kelentong. Because I've seen it. So when people present, you already understand the facts and say no, I don't believe what you're saying.
And then Sri, macam I think after 6 years kan, you left Proton and you went back to Petronas Dagang kan. And I just nak tahu lah, why did you decide to leave Proton? I think before that also ada a takeover by Highcom, right? The Arabian Highcom.
By I was taken over by Syed Mukhtar.
Same Otta.
Yeah.
And then why did you decide to?
Well, I mean, when you are 5 or 6 years, dia ada macam itch sikit lah. A calling to say time to move on lah. And I mean, not that and it kind of triggered when after being 6.5 years in the company.
But you were doing well, right? In Proton.
Yeah, I mean, you are managing it. Sales are good. We just launched a new car, but the new shareholder come in again. So thought myself, look, the new shareholder probably have their own plans lah. And I'm the kind of guy, I saw then I will speak my piece lah. So I said maybe let's give the opportunity for the new shareholder to have their own people lah. So I talked a lot about it. Masa tu, I remember Tun Mahathir was my advisor because Prime Minister at that time was Najib. And because they wanted me to stay.
He also predicted if Sam Otta took over, you would leave also.
So I thought about it. I asked a lot of people, and of course my istikharah. So I finally said I want time to leave lah. So I went to see Tun. I gave a letter. I went to the chairman. Of course, Tun was not happy. Asked me to consider, and I went to CPM. Said, "Is it one of the?" I said, "Yes." Said, "Do you have a job?" I said, "I don't." Memang tak ada kerja lah. I just wanted to take a break lah. And before I went to Perodua, I was an entrepreneur. I was associated with this brand called Brainy Bunch, as you know.
Oh, Brainy Bunch.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was a shareholder.
My sister goes there.
Right. So we built from a 5 campus to now
Now it's
become
everywhere.
100 campus.
Oh wow. Oh, you are part of the shareholder.
I was part of the team. Like Fazil was one, but I was the chairman. I was also a shareholder. Then I started up a few other companies. BioAlpha, I listed it, the company. Then I was doing on my own entrepreneur. Then just
How many years was the entrepreneur?
That was about 4 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Then I sat in the board of the bank. I was a board director of RSB Bank, RSB Islamic. I mean, kena kerja lah kita dia. But at that point, I just want to discover entrepreneurship. And then, of course, I started the EV Commerce. The EV, so then, the calling came from Petronas. Tan Sri Wanzo was the president. Dato' Arif was the EVP. Both of them were my peers when I was in Petronas.
Oh, peers
Satu group. Dato' Arif was my housemate in Singapore and also in Canada. So they say, okay, Syed, why don't you come back? And I said, I'm already dah 50 lebih. I don't want to do. I said, no, come back. Take a contract. They want to put me into downstream marketing. Downstream marketing is about retail. Dagangan. I was in charge of dagangan. I was supposed to be in charge of South Africa operation engine. We have about 1,000 stations. And also the Petronas lubricant, which includes the Formula One. The relationship. Said, why don't you lead this as a VP at the group? These are all your business. Come and help do marketing and all that. So I said, okay lah. Very interesting. So I said, okay lah. For Tan Sri and for Dato' Arif, friends yang pasal kan. And I like the challenge. Masa tu pun kita dah entrepreneur, kata, nah lah, let's try something different. So I took the role of Petronas as VP. And when the Dagangan MD left, because he was assigned to another job, they were looking. Then Tan Sri said, Syed, you double head lah. Double head, gaji sama.
I nak tanya juga berapa gaji masa tu, tapi tak apalah.
So I said, okay lah. I mean, I again, it's always about me rising to the challenge. I said, okay, Dangan. So I said, Tan Sri, what do you want? I want Dangan to be the number 1 retailer to overtake share lah. So okay, it's quite a challenge lah. So I took the role as Dagangan punya MD. Then again lah, same principle Asha. Protua sama, Proton sama. Going down to the ground, understand what's the problem. So I spend in dagangan. Pergilah sisi minyak, itu kerja my pastime. So
Main mesra lah, main mesra.
all the sisi minyak dekat rumah I semua takut lah. Kata ni bom mesti kena main spare kita kan. So I went everywhere, the whole country, understand. I talk to customer, I talk to dealers. Then I come back and say, okay, these are the pain point lah. So I realized, why does people go to Shell and not Petronas? So I went to Shell, isi minyak,
Lagi laju.
dan masuk dalam
Before.
kedai kan. What's the difference? Pergi Petron, pergi Caltech. Then we realize we have some weakness. Two weakness. One, the experience at the forecourt, which pump ni. Laju, slow. Ini rosak kan. Pegang ni tangan berminyak. Geli, toilet. That is experience. And our experience was not very good. Then masuk kedai mesra. Another experience. Pun tak bagus.
Tak banyak option lah masa tu.
No. So, but that's the reality. But then we all then sat down with Dato' Arif and the team said, how do we then change that experience? It's a process that we go through.
Yep.
Forecourt punya semua je nak itu. Tukar mesin, buat automate, get that settle. Kan,
Suddenly I saw the shift.
The shift quickly.
I liked Shell before.
Then minyak pun black mesra. Kan? You see now kan? Everywhere, cafe mesra. So that was during our time.
Yeah.
So then you see volume goes up, people coming back, and share pun rasa gempak kan. But it's not a rocket science, but it's really going to the detail.
Yeah.
That's fundamental in any business lah kan. Detail, understanding where are the pain point. It's about that. Every pain point is an opportunity to improve, right?
Yep.
So you address those pain points very clearly. It doesn't matter. But the only way to do it is to really go on the run. So I spend a lot of time. So sama juga the same thing. I go in South Africa when I go to Cape Town, Johannesburg every quarter. I go to the station. Kenapa kan? But itu paitam lah. Melayu lain kan. But they are different. So you cannot find the same mode. So very interesting. When I was in PLI bersama, I was in charge. I was the chairman of PLI. The global lubricant business. We got operation in China, in Europe, in South Africa, in South America. So when I go and travel, the same thing. I talk to my customer. My customers are Mercedes-Benz, BMW, the dealers, the workshop kan. Cakap dia, why do you like lubricant? What is the service you like? So then we grew. So I managed to turn things around in PLI, in engine and that. Applying the same principle from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Produk beza, principle sama.
Faham.
It's about focus. It's about going on to the floor, understand the operation. It's about customer centricity. Focus and the rest is about management. People, you need to move people lah. Adalah sikit Tuhan bagi kebolehan lah. I can talk and people will listen.
Yeah.
Kan? Suara macam ni kot. Orang tengok
Tak kena lempang pula dia. Macam kuat ni.
And that's a skill that I've learned over time. Is to make sure that you can address the audience. The way you deliver, high tone, low tone, kan, dengan message, marah pun ada, motivate pun ada. Then people believe. At the end of the day, what do you want in a leader? You want to trust your leader, right?
Yeah. And I remember juga dulu I tengok I think you launched, I can't remember which car, but it was at convention center. And then you did like a Steve Jobs style.
Zora lah. That was what I was famous for. I was the first CEO in corporate Malaysia that did live without text.
Yeah, and then it was like a Steve Jobs style lah bro. Diri atas stage and the voice apa semua. So that was when I first really macam this guy is something else.
Yeah, that was experience like. It was live, huh?
Yeah,
it was not got a live
and
on
I think
TV.
that time Najib ke Tun was the
Tun
one.
and Najib was there.
Yeah, dia yang buat ni kan.
I remember lepas tu kan Najib kata, Syed, you should become a politician.
Kan. Actually,
dia bisik lah kan. Mati aku.
Actually that was one of the question I wanted to ask juga. Tan Sri ada ke any minat nak masuk politik pula?
Mina is always there lah. As a person, what you want to do, and this late part of your career, Asha, kan, you have a very colourful experience about corporate world. You adalah success. There are also failures. I got no doubt. I'm not saying it's always successful. But when you look at it as a Malaysian, you want to see and contribute in nation building.
Yep.
That's always been my passion. Because I travel quite a bit. I see people do. I say, why are we stuck in this same thing? And no offense to all the ministers lah. I mean, nanti politician, but they need technocrats lah.
Yeah.
So minat tu ada lah, but I know, I mean, you know, and the circle that we are in, our parents kan, I think, nak jadi politician, you have to different DNA lah. I don't have that DNA lah, you know. I don't want to say what is the DNA, tapi susah lah jadi politician ni kan. And you really have to sell, you know, and you know, your time to the people kan.
But I think mungkin politician bukanlah politician yang pergi bertanding ni. Mungkin yang dilantik macam
Omar. I mean the likes of Tuku Zafro, Wahid Omar kan. Now I mean given opportunity today, if there's a call, I would take the challenge, because to me I want to make a difference, and I think I can move things behind, because I'm all the experience I have, and I think like you say, what is your purpose in life? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us reason for all the colourful things in life. There must be a reason. And it's to make change to people kan? In your household, your community, and the ultimate to me, the test is to make a change for the nation and the ummah. To me, if I'm given that role, I would just take it without thinking lah.
Yeah, which ministry yang you paling minat?
MITI and transport.
MITI and transport
Yeah. And education lah. Kalau tiga ni tak minat lah.
So mungkin kalau PM tengah tengok
can consider.
ataupun kalau orang yang tengah tengok ni, tolong hantar di shot kepada PM.
Yes.
No, I mean, there no lack of people asking me to be. I don't mention names lah, but even the number one himself at one point in time. But I just thought that, you know, I wouldn't. Timing was not right lah. But
I think at this point it's a good time lah.
I mean, if a call to contribute in the country, you cannot say no lah. I think the country needs the best brain, you know, and the best people. I mean, I have my own skill. I'm sure there are other people who are better than me. But if I can be of help, that's why people ask me to help in organisation, you know, in the government. You know, I sit a few task force. I do, you know, because I mean, that's what you are for, kan? At this stage of life, kita dah tua, kan? I mean, you know, success. I mean, you don't need anymore. I've come to level that enough is enough lah. You know, I mean, what more can you do? Kan? There will never be enough.
Dah cukup dah. EPF tu dah full lah.
Now it's time to give back.
It's about giving back to society to the people, to the country.
Yeah, and I think that's why the reason kenapa I sangat-sangat hormat Tan Sri lah. And I remember macam when I first started Mutiara, kita pindah ke office kan. I tried to invite Tan Sri lah untuk datang kan. And he was there. He came for the launching of my office apa semua. And today bila I jemput datang kita punya podcast pun, Tan Sri, you know, tak ada banyak hesitant lah untuk datang. So I feel like you are really kind, and also you banyak bantu lah orang muda ni, sebab mungkin you nampak kita ni tengah mencuba kan. So
you know, Ashraf, I remember 3 things that I mean my ustaz mentioned to me lah. It's just maybe for the audience. Yeah, for audience. 3 benda that you boleh bawa ke akhirat kan. Satu, sedekah jariah.
Yep.
Yalah, whatever we can mampu, some people can give more kan.
Yes.
Kedua, anak yang soleh.
Yes.
We hope and I pray, my children will be anak yang soleh lah kan. Itu pun tak boleh guarantee kan. You never know. Tomorrow you die, wallahu alam, Adam, Hakim, Adil, I think we have taught them well enough.
I think they quite
InsyaAllah. But third is ilmu yang memberi manfaat.
Betul.
Yes.
Then you can control today.
Yeah.
So what I can control, I want to give back. Kan? And I believe my journey daripada dulu pergi from one state to the other, colourful like a US, Haikom, Proton, there is a reason why Allah tentukan. It's today for me to give this conversation that we're having.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's why when people ask me to give talk, Ashraf, I never turn them down. Barely. University, you know, intern, government, you know, private sector, I like, because to me it's about sharing experience. If I can make a change, you know, and influence life of others, I believe that my pada akan mendapat berganja lah. You know, that's what I like to do. You know, because and balance the life. You want to be successful in dunia and akhirat kan. That's I think that must be the obsession kan. But that's the face of what I want to do next. You know, I mean, I don't want to be a corporate world anymore, because I want to help. But enough is enough. All the publicity, malah nanti nak all the publicity kan. I want to do. That's why I'm close to the majlis, to the mosque. And until today, one of the public speaking ever you have get a chance, Ashraf, I suggest is baca khutbah kat masjid will be the ultimate.
Oh, you've done that?
I've done that every 3 months. I will do it in my masjid.
Sure. Wow.
I'll do it in my masjid. I will do it in the university masjid. I do it kat UTM punya masjid, and a few other masjid. Kat bangsa punya masjid I pernah buat. But it's about delivering a text and when you want people to
Captivate.
captivate. So my KPI kalau masuk kat mimbar kan, tak nak orang tidur, tak nak orang baca phone. That must be your KPI. People, they want you to listen to you. So that's really training, how you deliver your sermon. Tapi kalau semua orang semua so I and the mimbar, that's my KPI. And I get very satisfied if I deliver and people are watching me and listen to me.
Yeah.
And you can see the audience kan, you can see. And that's of course about cleaning up yourself lah. Kita ni banyak dosa kan, banyak lah kan muka. And just clean up. But that's what I like to do. I'm happy that I have a wife that supports me. Alhamdulillah. Kind of my parents are there.
That's beautiful.
So you need to have an ecosystem to support you lah.
Yeah. And I think also why we started apa cerita ni pun actually because of this 3 pillar and the last pillar tu lah, which is nak sebarkan ilmu yang bermanfaat kan.
Correct. Beneficial knowledge.
Yep. Sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Actually, my next question, Tan Sri, is because I used to work for Riyadh, right? Tan Sri Riyadh Smart. So it's supposed to ask you, why do you think it's important for a leader to always go on ground? But I think the whole session we have today is
Very
actually
quite clear.
center on that. So there's no point me asking. So I think maybe we can move towards the next.
Yeah.
Your current tenure and
I think penglibatan Tan Sri sangat dalam D-Nex ni sangatlah signifikan kepada pemain-pemain bursa kan.
Yep.
And baru ni D-Nex juga berjaya peroleh lanjutan kontrak penyelenggaraan dan sokongan perisian serta penambahbaikan aplikasi sistem pencukaian bersepadu.
Quite mouthful lah.
Ini researcher kita semua tanya, bernilai 11.2 juta daripada LHDN kan. So apakah misi D-Nex ni di masa hadapan? And maybe you can also tell us a bit about D-Nex punya, how did you get involved with D-Nex?
And if I may add a bit also, Tan Sri, is that I was reading the annual report and all that for D-Nex, and I saw the trajectory that when you came in, how it impacted from a few hundred millions to 1.4 billion in terms of revenue 2022.
I think, that's a very good question. I mean, this is again a classic example how you want to change the realignment of a company. So when I came in, I was given a very simple task. The next was, a very IT company, very small portfolio or customer range. And I think the business was at risk because we rely a lot on government contract. And so the shareholders and the board wanted to look at new growth opportunities. So the question is, where do we go? Where do we go? Because sama aja kan. So when I came in, I looked, what we are doing today, and I need to look what is the next future growth in the next 5 to 10 years. So of course, IT, I think, still going to be remain. Question is you just have to reinvent the wheel by adapting all the new technology, AI, data, data analytics and so on. So that capability we build, and we don't now just do government, we also do private sector.
Yep.
So it's balancing our portfolio and trying to improve margin into the high value add service. And today the government is doing many IT initiatives. I think we are in a good position, and we are now negotiating and bidding a few contracts. Inshallah, I think we are in a good position. So there's still be our call. We cannot run from how we exist. And one thing. But what's the next new horizon? I think one of the significant things that I came in that turned the needle, Isra, when you say, is when we acquired Cetera, the semiconductor from Khazanah.
Yes.
Because going forward, today people talk about semiconductor, mana, everything that you use pakai microchip kan, and the number of volume, everything it becomes
apparently kita punya ni pun ada microchip tak?
Commodity and becomes more high superior. And Cetera is in that space. So we bought over Cetera from the government. We bid, then I go to Cetera every week at one point in time. I spend 3 days there. Sama juga gambar, turun bawah, talk to the shop floor, and turn the thing around. So,
but that time Cetera was not.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Khazanah owned the company, and I think we came in the right time, and we put a lot of focus But in any business, the cycle. Today, the cycle is going down. Of course, we are also a bit suffering in terms of the numbers, but it's going up again because we are shifting from the device, what you see, today, the demand is less. We're now going to the emerging technology, which is for electric vehicle, AI computing, data warehousing, and all that, where they require superior, high, fast microchip. That's what we do. We don't produce the chip, we use the wafer that we send to our customer. Our customers are multinational. Google, Broadcom, names of it lah. I mean, we cannot name it because it's confidential.
Yep.
But these are the people. And so we learn that. So that's what I did for the last 2 years. To change the profile of the DNA. To change profile senang, kadang, because you got the money, you got the strategy. But to change the culture becomes more important. That's the how to shift. Orang yang selalu mengharapkan government now to become more energetic, more agile, more
the business process pun dah
lain. So that's where again I spend time by going sama lah kat Setara sama, go down. I speak to everyone. I do frequent town hall. Sebab I takut apa Ashraf. If I were to pass you a message today, kalau I bisik ke Ashraf satu, Ashraf bisik ke Isra bisik gitu kan,
dia dah jadi lain.
I can tell you pada sampai dah lain kan. So I fear the message doesn't go across. So the best way to me about communication is you have to speak.
Direct.
Yeah. And not only you have to speak, but you
People
also
have to
must
listen.
have ability to listen. Seek first to understand before you be understood.
Yep.
So that's very fundamental communication kan. So you speak boleh lah bagi, tapi kenalah listen juga orang gitu. Kadang cakap-cakap tak pernah dengar orang kan. So you have to listen what the people are saying. So I spend a lot of time. So that's about how you want to transform a certain culture. So that's what the process I'm doing now. And we hope, DNEX will be a vibrant company. Now, the next phase of DNEX is about going overseas. So we've signed an MOU in Saudi. We're now going to Qatar, doing the same thing. We are now going to invest in another fab with another partner. I've been, appointed as advisory panel to the semiconductor task force of the government. We give a few suggestions. We want Malaysia to be the hub. So DNEX is a local Bumi Putra company. Is this that space? Not many people can claim I'm in the global semiconductor. You compete the like of TSMC, SMIC, Global Funding. Ada orang namang DNEX ni kan. To me, it's an accomplishment. To be in that space, and when you do that, you deal with international clients. So I was in Setara 2 weeks ago. I told her, you are lucky among the Malaysians to be in this. You should be proud and have hope and high hope in the company and give you back. So the thinking is different. It's not like bagi kerja kan. It's not become national agenda kan. Sense of pride in what you do. So when you do that, and when you have the direction, I think it's quite clear lah. But people always say lah, it's not always about the plan. It's always about the execution.
Yep.
Boleh ke buat kan? People have to believe.
And boleh buat is about people lah. I tell you one thing that I've been trained by Toyota. I think this is it's about problem solving. Toyota kata Isra kan, you nak solve problem tanya why, kena tanya why 7 kali. Why. Pelik kan? Apa tanya why 7 kali? Why sekali cukup kan? I give you an example. Okay, if I go to a kilang, I kata mesin rosak kan. So I tanya, adik kenapa mesin rosak? Bos tak ada spare part lah. Kan? So I kata, okay, beli spare part lah. So, solve rosak, beli spare part, mau solve. Toyota kata no. That's not the way you solve problem. Toyota kata, Dedik, kenapa mesin rosak? Tak ada spare part lah. Kenapa tak ada spare part? Tak ada budget. Kenapa tak ada budget? Tak ada duit lah. Kenapa tak ada duit? Tak submit. Kenapa tak submit? Takut.
That is the
Takut
problem.
ke bos. So the problem is apa?
Takut ke bos?
Takut ke bos. Exactly. Different approach of solving problem, right?
Yeah.
So in life, in problem, in business pun sama
Tapi
juga.
kenapa takut bos? Bos garang.
Exactly. So typically the problem is always about the people.
Yeah.
But if you tackle the problem in any company that you go surface, it's not sustainable. Because the root punca tu you tak selesai lagi. So that is why problem solving in any company, even when you run the business, it's always about problem. You have got a problem, but ask that question. Why? Kenapa? They say, that's all. It could be people, it could be process, it could be equipment. But when you go very surface, you
won't get that.
You won't get, sekejap lah, lepas tu benda tu akan berulang lagi. And that's why problems keep on repeating in every organization. I mean, that's something that I learned and I still practice the same thing. So that's what I'm doing now in DNEX, realigning the business portfolio. Of course, stock market ni people akan hentam. Tapi I'm not distracted lah.
Yeah.
I'm a very focused person. I need to go and align myself I mean, in any business, there's always ups and downs.
Yep.
But you just have to reinvent yourself very quickly, and adapt to the environment. IT is very rapid, semiconductor very rapid. Of course, we also got oil and gas, very capital intensive. Where the price of oil fluctuates.
Correct.
So the parameter, you have too many different parameters that you have to juggle. Currency now 4.7, lagi lah kan. So all these dynamics, as the number one guy, you need to manage all this. So yeah, I mean it's fun, but it also has its challenges lah. But dah penghujung ni, dah you just want to take a different role lah. Kan?
I think it's interesting lah. Actually, at first bila I tengok D-Nex, I tak faham sangat apa D-Nex buat because it's very complicated punya ni kan. But now I understand lah what it's all about kan. So okay, Tan Sri, we're going to move on to the last segment, which is we call it interesting questions lah. Kalau kepada setengah orang tu kita panggil hard question, tapi sebab kita tengok tak dapat lah Tan Sri punya controversial benda.
Tak ada
slate.
tak ada controversy, so kita tak boleh buat hard question lah. So Tan Sri, dalam perjalanan kerjaya yang luar biasa ni, mesti ada saat-saat yang Tan Sri harus buat keputusan yang berat kan. Boleh tak Tan Sri mungkin bring us back to maybe one of the decision yang berat yang Tan Sri harus buat, and macam mana Tan Sri mengatasi?
Well, I mean, there's a few lah, but just to single out maybe two lah, maybe. One, when I was in Proton. Proton is unique lah, Ashraf kan. It's a brand that people love and also people hate at the same time. So you are exposed, to the public, and of course you're also exposed to the politicians and the leaders of the country. One of the difficult things that it's always about managing stakeholder lah. I always say I have 4 bosses in Proton. I got the chairman of the board. I got the chairman of Khazanah at that time. Khazanah was the shareholder. I got the prime minister, my ultimate shareholder, which I meet every 3 months when we have to send report card. Then I have my advisor, Tun Mahathir, as my boss. And we are being a listed company. And Ashraf, it's right, listed company, kita ada governance, proper, things that we have to disclose and not disclose.
Yep.
And I'm the group MD, the buck stopped at me. There are few situations where the 4 are not aligned. And I anticipate lah. Kan?
Yalah, especially the advisor and
tak sebut lah kan. So when someone asks me to do something, what do? I cannot put in a minute. I'm being instructed, but that request might not be in the best interest of the company. One particular thing was, I'm not going to go into detail, but I had to make a decision. It cost a commitment, monetary commitment. But I didn't do this. There'll be a crisis. Crisis about shareholder kat atas bergaduh kan, tak tu pasal. So I was told to diffuse the thing, which means I had to make a decision which might not be in the best interest. Question, how did you do it? And so that was very difficult. So because I had a good chairman that I consulted the chairman. So I actually made that decision, invested in something, because it avoided a conflict that potentially could be very
more damaging.
More damaging lah, at that point in time, for the sake of the bigger ecosystem. And I said, this is not something I want to get into lah. So it was very difficult. In terms of principle, right? And what's right, what's wrong. Kan? A very grey line there. That was, to me, I can still remember the conversation that I had in coming that decision. But it makes me a wiser person at that point in time.
Ultimately, how did you decide? How did you went with your instinct?
Which is the bigger problem that I want to avoid. Both will probably put me in hot soup, which is the lighter of evil lah. So I took the lighter one. I do, then I think I can mitigate this. But this, it goes beyond me.
Tak boleh.
And so I had to tak payah lah. Why do I take that risk? And it affects other people. Kan? This something that I can manage. So that's the principle always lah kan. Least pass of least resistance. Yang senang impact, you buat itulah. Kalau you nak pergi tempat itu you must have kena ada sword and shield to go to that kan. So that's one incident that I remember very clearly. I think the other incident that really matured me was when I was in Petronas, when COVID-19 came in. Imagine, kerja you jual minyak, jual lubricant.
Yeah.
Today, all government say nobody drives car. I mean, your business is zero. You know?
Yep.
Everything stopped dead. Sisi minyak tak boleh jalan, your ecosystem, kilang tak boleh jalan. But the government services needs to run. Kereta, polis kena jalan. So how do you manage that in COVID? I remember I was sitting in home, start because work from home. Kan? I had to manage Malaysia. Siang hari, petang I had to manage Europe because I got factories in Turin, in Spain, and in India. Malam I had to manage South America and US. Kilang kat Buenos Aires, Argentina and Brazil. Also kena tutup. And I had people dying in the factories of COVID-19. And I was the chairman of the board of the three companies. Imagine the weight on your shoulder when you say, mati. They say, how your staff meninggal, kan? Children, family. And people doesn't get to work. And then I call a town hall online, give them comfort.
Berapa town hall you had to do?
Oh, banyak. Every factory town hall. Brazil punya hilang, India punya hilang, Turin town hall because they want to hear. Don't worry, we'll give you assurance. We'll take care of the family. I know it's difficult. I know you fear for your health, but we need to commit to this because we got customers that have to wait. Oh, I tell you, nak cakap dengan Mak Saleh bukan senang kan? Dengan Spanish lagi kan, ada interpreter cakap. But it really tells you about crisis management.
Yeah.
And this, COVID-19 is unprecedented.
Yeah.
And I had to make calls. That cost money. That also meant these people discomfort. But the buck stops on me. I need to make the call. And we have to report to Transit President. And for the sake of the ecosystem, I need to do. And, when I look behind that, I could have do things better. But running the plant could cost people's life.
Yeah.
How do you want to take it on your heart? But if you don't run the plant,
Profit pula masalah.
Economic.
I mean, the whole system in Europe, in South Africa, tak ada minyak macam mana tu kan? Nak tak nak, you hendak
Lagi
paksa
ramai
lah.
orang ni.
And you put people at risk, I mean, it's your call that you have to make. Oh, I said I didn't want to make that call. I said, but that don't have choice. And true enough, one or two people had COVID, passed away. So you have to live with that conscience, that decision. But at this time, your conscience was very clear. You make a decision for the bigger good. But those are consequences that you probably have. And of course, we make sure that the family is taken care of. And, send people, manage them properly. But alhamdulillah, I mean, we survived that crisis. So those are the two things, so that I think over time, and of course there are many other, colorful example, but that's story lah,
Right. So my next question, Tan Sri, I think as someone who's reached the pinnacle of corporate success, right? What is your perspective on work-life balance, and how have you managed this throughout your demanding career, especially with all this, like how you explain, right?
Actually, I struggle lah, Ashraf. I struggle work-life balance. I'm very committed and
Work, right?
Work hard punya lah. Kita work like a mad dog lah.
Gila-gila punya gila.
Gila-gila. And I mean, I started engineer kan. Never in my life wanted to, to become a CEO when I am. Dan dapat pangkat Tan Sri pun tak dan terfikir lah. But all this Allah punya rezeki. But I now realize that, in work-life balance, you need to manage the time at work and your family lah. I'm lucky. Yeah, I got a wonderful wife, Kajan, as you know, auntie, then who understands. There are times when I'm out work, dia lah become driver, dia lah become technician kat rumah. Semua dia buat kan. I mean, she hold the responsibility, and I nothing can do to pay her for all the sacrifice that she had to make, and including my children, And I was so busy trying to be a father and a boss. Adam
Yep.
kan?
Yep.
And Adam can tell you story. This one time, this is when I was in Proton. Adam nak beli basikal tau. This is betul cerita. I was so stressed kat kerja, tengah makan, ada dinner. Adam kata, Dad, I want to buy a car. I want to buy a bicycle. Okay, buat proposal. then he walk away. I go back to my work and then they complain ke auntie kan. You know, Mom, I wanted to buy a bicycle. You know what Dad tell me? Write a proposal. What the? Then malam balik, you know, then auntie call me. Hey, Zang, do you know what you told Adam just now? what did I tell him? You nak beli bicycle? Beli lah. No, you ask him to write a proposal. Allah Akbar. I said, I hear my son who's only 15 right proposal macam tu. I tell him, crazy kan, gila kan. So I realised, you know, it's like I'm just too obsessed with work. You know?
Did you actually meant it or
No,
tak sengaja.
Tak sengaja become routine.
Oh, okay.
So point is, I was busy trying to be a dad or boss. I forgot to be his friend.
It's already like
So I spend, after that I realised, then I start being a friend lah. You know, lepak dengan kawan-kawan dia, go out, you know, and spend, and keeps me, you know, down skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course the other one is I everybody has stress. As we talk about this morning kan.
Yep.
Macam-macam lah. My only break from stress is I'm closer to the masjid. That's another life balance that I do.
Yeah,
So
and in fact when I went to the masjid, diorang panggil Masjid Syed Zainal.
I was a Nazir president for 10 years over time, and I've done a lot of things, you know, but it's just giving the community. But that keeps me grounded.
And you are there every day also, right?
InsyaAllah subuh without fail. Kalau I'm in KL, kalau travel tak ada lah, but I'm there to doing things. I mean, as a president, you need to do community work, you know, buat program, you know, upgrade the facility, and I've been doing for the last 11 years. But that keeps me balanced lah, you know. And then of course pergi ceramah-ceramah, just like your parents, you know, we do. But so you need to have the best of both lah, you know. Kalau cakap dunia saja, it never end lah. Nothing is to be enough kan. Islam kan.
Yep.
Semua tak cukup. Kita manusia memang lah. Sifat kita, fitrah kita, semua nak lagi kan. But you have the akhirat, that keeps you balanced lah. You know, and today I'm a much balanced person. Dulu pandang barang lah kan. But now I realize, you know, and Alhamdulillah my parents are very important. I'm what I am today, I can share you. It's not because I'm smart. Work hard but because berkat doa my parents and my family and the people that I have. I guarantee you that's the reason why. So when you think in that way, you get grounded very easily. You don't get lost in this publicity, you know, the glamour that you have.
But in your lifetime pernah tak you terlari track ataupun get overwhelmed with all this success?
Of course.
Pernah.
Very easy kan. Orang semua, Tan Sri, dia begini duduk sini kan. You that, gila babe kan. But my parents taught me well. I'm a very simple person. I got a simple rule when I go to majlis, when I in the company. My food must never be different from the other people that eat. Must be the same. I prefer to eat like anybody. I don't want to have a special dome. And kalau queue, I want to queue. You know, because that's a message they want to be. Because the Tan Sri is just a name. But and then you are the person. So I go, macam kat banjir in Kelantan. I go and tolong banjir Kelantan 2014. I stay dengan auntie. We stay in the kemah. Helping the people. I said, don't stay in hotel. But there's no protocol. So people who knows me for what I am. You know? But you're right. Kadang-kadang lah kita manusia biasa kan banyak kelemahan kan. Terbawa-bawa habis kono. Then pergi masjid balik. Okay, I'm just another person kan.
Sebab tu pentingnya ada that home base tu kan.
You need to put it back. You know, you love family. You love the people that surround you. And then the day, you are what you are today because of the people you interact with, right?
Yeah.
So that molds the character. So I need to have balance lah. Kalau aku nak jadi macam ni, jadilah
Hero
kan. Ya tak betul lah kan. Kalau jadi macam ni. So I have a balance. But sometimes there exist conflicts between the two, where you balance. Like today, for example, I'm a corporate man. I drive for financial gains, profitability, bottom line. And I also sit in the Majlis Agama Islam, Nasrutuan. We run a big organization, but we're not measured by monthly. We're measured by how many asnaf that we have. And so objectives are different, you know. You spend money with two different objectives. And so now I too becomes very important. So That's why I'm quite clear. Like everywhere I go, I am. But when I do, my niat is very clear. But all this benda yang kita belajar lah. I mean dulu pun kita zaman-zaman jahilah pun semua. We all went to the same old kan. But I got no regrets.
Yeah.
My colourful character in the university shapes me on today. But those are the past. You know, I want to go forward. And orang kata dah senior citizen, senja ni kan. Dan umur 60 lebih ni.
Kau dah 60 lebih You not 50.
Ada kaya 60 tak? Tak kan.
1 year younger than my dad.
Oh,
Right.
67.
I'm
62.
62. Oh, your dad 63.
63, yeah.
I'm 62 this year. So, exactly.
But you look still like in the
still
early 50s.
Jangan cakap kau marah auntie kau bang. No, but I come to a point that this is the next phase of your life. Kan? I always have this 5 years vision of me, you know, and said, you know, when I where am I going to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
So I took when I'm 60, I said where I'm going to be in 65. That it means for me in 65, I have a clear understanding where I'm going to be, the person I want to be. So I want to aim to be that person.
Yeah, which leads us to our next and also almost last question now. Where do you see
What's next?
Yeah, what's next for Tan Sri Syed Zainal?
I mean, like I said, I'm very philosophical in understanding where I am today. I believe one thing, Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala bila kita dilahirkan, 3 benda Allah bagi yang tetapkan. Tarikh kita akan mati, jodoh kita dan rezeki kita dah ditetapkan. So all this is my rezeki that I think Allah have put me for a reason. Because work hard adalah, but to accumulate all this vast wealth of knowledge, there must be a reason. And over the last couple of years, I discovered what that reason is. It's for me is to lead a community and to make life better for the ummah in the capacity that I am. Either I'm a corporate leader, I'm a politician. So right now, a lot of my work, Ashraf, now I want to do corporate da'wah.
Corporate da'wah.
That's my tagline. So that's why I want to go and I read khutbah in many masjid, because I want to say I could be a successful corporate man and yet to be good
Da'wah.
dalam agama. Because some people say you cannot mix the bowl.
Yeah.
Kan? The reality is no. Kan? So you can still be successful, but still do the thing that you want to do in the community. And I took a lot of pain and effort to do that. So to answer your question, my next phase is now about giving back in everywhere to my children. I help, as I mentioned, I had people start up, people like you. Kan?
Yep.
Kalau orang tanya advice, I will do. And the little ilmu that I have, I can mentor, and I do mentoring a lot of people. I give to my community, and I'm like entrenched in Subang Jaya. Orang macam kita ni mayor kan. I mean, people expect you to do things, so you go, you give, talk, you go, and then the government, appointed in the majlis, the task force, and I like to give talks. I was a chairman of UITM for about 3 years, and today I give talk to universities, and I hardly say no. Because I think that's what my destiny is. Kita sebagai khalifah di bumi Allah ni ada sebab yang kita dah buat. And to me it's my destiny lah. And I hope when Allah panjang umur, when Allah takes back, I like to be known to be that person that has given back to the society. Kita ambil saja tak pergi siarang kan. And the three things that you do, if you have control, you do that. I'm sure all both of you one day will be in that position.
InsyaAllah.
We always must remember, Allah takkan bagi satu kita benda yang kita tak mampu buat. It's a ujian. Cuma kita underestimate ourselves. But when we berjaya, Allah also asks us to give back. Not for you to take. So you remember these two things. In everything that you do, I think you should have confidence. And because Allah tak zalim, kita yang zalim. We underestimate ourselves. Kan? Allah kenapa aku kena, kenapa aku merana. But it's a reason why you have to look at the bright side. I'm a positive person. I'm never not a negative person in life. So I know itulah. I mean, I don't know. I hope I still dipanjangkan umur, rezeki, trying to help other people to do this.
The famous quote from Spider-Man: "With great power comes great responsibility."
Spider-Man.
Alright, that's it. Mungkin our last word of advice for the audience. Kan maybe you have kata-kata emas untuk kita punya audience. Last word of advice.
I think my advice is, first of all, you as any individual lah. tak kisahlah, people masih ala Tan Sri cakap senang lah kan. You get, many people get opportunities, some people don't. But you must always think that there are always people that's worse off than you. You know, don't always be negative in your thinking. Number two, always give your best in what you do. Nothing come easy in life. With success come a lot of failures. I've failed a lot of my time. To get successful, you have to work hard. So working hard is a given lah. Tapi kadang-kadang orang muda ni semua nak cepat, senang. And there's no shortcut to success. That one you have to be prepared lah.
Yep.
This journey in life comes with a lot of hardship. If you build a resilient, alhamdulillah, I had a very interesting background that been resilient, but kena tahan diri lah. Kena cepat putus asa, give up. Nak bunuh diri lah, nak bunuh diri lah, nak pergi minum gitu. Tak boleh. And I keep telling my children, you never give up, but you must be focused on what to do. The other one is, of course, you have to be thankful lah. Syukur Allah Ta'ala kan. I mean, for whatever reason, there's always worse people. Kita tengok kapal dengan Palestine lagi kan.
Yeah.
Who are we to complain?
True.
So we be syukur pada Allah and be thankful to your parents. And be successful, like just like Riyadh and I saw the podcast. I need a very strong ecosystem to support lah. And who are your ecosystem? Obviously your parents, your family, you have a wife, your children. I mean, for that, I'm ever indebted to them lah. You know, I will not be where I am today. And of course, your friends that molds and shape the way you think. So it's always about the choice. You need to make the right choices in life. You know, and sometimes you make the wrong choice. It's okay. But you have to learn quickly. But hopefully, over time, you get the wisdom to make better choices in life, because life is about a journey lah. Every journey requires a certain decision. I make, as we shared jadi kan, many decisions, and every decision I ask principle. I'm an engineer. I treat my facts, then I seek divine help. Kita doa kepada Allah SWT. And Allah ni maha pembantu, maha pemurah. Kalau kita angkat doa, kita minta, insyaAllah Allah akan dengar permintaan dan kita insyaAllah. That's the guidance that we have. What more do we need, I mean, God gives the brain to akal to fikir, but at this time, you need to rely on me. So if you have the balance in that, I think it's I think everybody out there, I think you need to find your own purpose in life. I find my own purpose in life. It's not been easy for me. But when I do, with power come great responsibility. Amanah tu besar. So you need to then ask yourself, what's your amanah there? Whether you are a manager, driver lori pun ada amanah kan. Make sure you say, kalau tidak dia boleh lari, orang tak makan, tak sampai, put amanah. Betul. But so you need to understand that context, how you fit into the bigger system. Do not think you're just small, you are insignificant. Kan? Kalau semua jadi CEO, siapa nak dia kerja ke bawah?
True.
Yeah. Kan? But that's what Allah SWT buat dalam dunia ni. Everybody has a role to play.
Beautiful,
so play your role in the best way you can. Play well.
The best you can.
The best you can be. That's my advice lah.
And so with that, thank you so much, Tan Sri. I think this session has been one of the most inspiring session that we've had.
Inspiring and educational.
And I think your experience ni super colourful. Actually, kalau ikutkan banyak sangat benda yang kita tak dapat touch base, but you have dah cakap dekat 2 jam dah. And I think, I hope that a lot of people can learn lah from this.
I hope so, insyaAllah.
This session. And to be the best person is not impossible. And to I think you've almost conquered the world lah, not just Malaysia kan. You've done so many.
I'm lucky lah. I can be called, say I'm an international person, global person. I've been to.
And banyak orang fikir kita orang Melayu, kita ni lemah, kita ni tak boleh.
Oh, itu tak betul. We can do it.
Yeah, but you are a prime example of actually Melayu ni sebenarnya kita boleh go global. We can be the best and we can compete with the
you can
rest
compete
of the
with all the multinational.
Yes.
I mean, I've been there, I've stand on that platform. We can do it.
Agreed.
So I think I'm super grateful juga. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very honored.
Keep up the good work.
Inshallah.
Use this platform to communicate and share with the audience.
Maybe any last word from you?
Yeah, for me also, it has been an honor. Tan Sri, thank you so much. Especially because I look up to Riyadh, because I learned so much in the past 6 years I was with him, and I know the sauce. Being able to
adalah sikit.
Partly,
I'm sure he's also contributed.
Of course, definitely by himself, but partly it's also it's an honor to be able
boss
to
kepada boss kan?
Boss kepada boss. And also I want to say to the viewers, like, you don't have to be an entrepreneur at the start, but you can also transfer or transform from a corporate, then do just like
bukan maksud you bekerja hari ni sampai bila-bila you kena kerja.
Correct.
It's a journey that you have to go through.
Yeah, but the point is be the best at whatever
Be the
you're
best
doing,
version.
and from there then people will nampak, and that's how you grow in life, kan.
Inshallah, if I have an event, I'll try to invite Tan Sri. So
Marketing tu.
Alright, so thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Please help us subscribe and make sure you guys share this with everybody. Kan, ni Tan Sri pun orang masjid, so share juga dengan orang masjid. Kan, supaya semua orang pun dapat this benefit from this whole session. So thank you so much. InsyaAllah kita akan jumpa di minggu hadapan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.